Hey guys, it's Taku. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. It is currently 4 in the morning. I just got off of the ATEEZ Port of Call 2nd anniversary concert. It started at about 1 a.m. and it lasted about 2 or 3 hours, and so it is now 4. I'm gonna be using my indoor voice. I'm so sorry. That's what we're gonna have to deal with. But just know that I am so excited when I mention all of these points. I did write up some notes like I did for the BTS Map of the Soul 1 concert. I have lots to say. And so yeah, if you have not watched the concert already, or if you do plan on re-watching it somewhere, please know that I'm going to talk about all of the songs covered in all of the parts of the concert. So yeah, spoilers ahead. Okay, I'm actually going to begin with a little bit of, kind of background for this. So I did not plan on originally watching ATEEZ's Port of Call concert, just because when I found out about it, it was coming out of Map of the Soul 1 weekend, and I was tired and I was busy and I have a lot of things, so I was going to pass on it. And I also didn't think it was going to be as easily accessible, but it was done through mymusictaste.com, and I had never used it before. I'd never even heard of it, but they made it so smooth and so easy. The ATEEZ official account, like 30 minutes before the concert, tweeted out a thing, "It's not too late to get your tickets." And so I, of course, clicked in, and oh my god, the countdown was going down, and it took me forever to figure out how to navigate through the website, but I finally did, because there's a little tab along the bottom that you have to click to buy the ticket. But anyway, there was an option with a gift, and then just a regular ticket. The concert ticket was about $30, and if you bought the gift with it, it's like $43 or $45, but then there's $20 shipping for it. But it is, I think, a nice photo card or photo card set, along with postcards and a cool like 3D card type thing. Looking back on it now, I do wish that I kind of just did it anyway, because honestly, what is money? But I did go with just the $30 option. But yes, the concert started at 1 a.m. I just barely made it. But guys, I'm so glad I did it. It was absolutely worth it. The concert said it was going to be at least 125 minutes, and it ended up being almost 170. So that's a 2-hour to a 3-hour long concert. So you were definitely getting your money's worth. Up front though, the only problem I will say is that there was a weird issue with the subtitles. They were just a little slow because, live subs. But worse than that was that I think it was just my browser, but it would sometimes kind of refresh, and then you have to go in and reset it to English subs and then change it back to 1080p or whatever quality you were using. So I thought that was kind of annoying. It happened like 7 or 8 times throughout the concert. But again, I think that might have just been my browser, not just everyone's experience. Okay, let's talk about the concert. I'm gonna go through these very quickly. So it began with Thanks, and oh my god, ATEEZ is just killer in concert. Their live is just, it's so crazy. If you think that music videos are just so charged and full of energy, you have not seen their live performances. It's insane. After this, they did Good Little Boy, so they are showcasing more from Zero Fever, and that works out really well because what came next was an introduction. They talked about the 2nd anniversary. They recalled some memories from songs of all their previous albums, and that they were going to perform a couple of new things. The first was a Treasure series medley. It started with kind of like footage from all of the MVs kind of stitched together, and then they did like 10-20 seconds of Pirate King, which was just Yeosang and Wooyoung. Then they did Hala Hala to represent the 2nd EP, and that was with Hongjoong and Songhwa. Then Mingi did Wave all by himself, and it was so good. And then Yoonho did Win, which was, oh my god, even better. And then it ended with Answer by Jungho and Zon. After this, they went straight into the official Pirate King live performance, and those mics were hot, guys. I am not joking with you. The medley that came before sort of serves as a preview, because next came Hala Hala, and oh my god, guys, when this is live, it's so freaking intense. Jungho and Zon, their stage presence, it's on another level. Then we had Win, and Songhwa and Yoonho sounded so good in that one. They are kind of, like my biases that I look towards, so I mean, I was looking at them. But I also really love the flag twirlers. They had people in the background twirling the flag with like the ATEEZ logo across, and I thought that was such a power move, to be honest, because the actual MV does use flags. And then there was Answer, and that always has some of the coolest choreo. I love seeing that live anytime I can, and of course, Jungho vocals. After this, they had a break where they discussed some some of the memories of the Treasure series, they took us to a little museum kind of corner area that was pitched with just different song titles behind them. And they had this funny little, it was like a weird little award show segment, and Yoonho emceed it all, and you know, that's the best part of it. But they basically gave sort of silly character awards to all of the members. It lasted a lot longer than I think people expected, because it was like 30 or 40 minutes. So I had to remind myself that this wasn't like a full-on concert, like it was a second anniversary concert. Like they are celebrating not just their music, but just kind of the group in general. But it was super funny. You could probably catch on social media who won what, and it was so good. After this, we had kind of the weirdest part of the concert, which was like various dance routines. I guess it just, you know, it showed off the group's, you know, choreography skills, because there's not a slacker in ATEEZ. These are all pro dancers basically. But yeah, they weren't dancing to their songs, it was just kind of other groups, and I mean, I thought that was okay. And then we had some pre-recorded footage of them talking about Port of Call long before it even happened, sort of what did they want to do for the concert, and you know, of course, we have the concert now. After this, we had a transition to Wave, and guys, Wave is like my second favorite ATEEZ song, and so it was so good to see that live. All of the members were back in all white, which is a stark contrast to the black leather that they all started with, and it was so good. I loved it all. Yoonho was so smiley through the whole thing, and oh my god, Yeosang had a ponytail. After this, we had a talk break, and we had what is perhaps the most interesting part of the entire concert, and that was Latin style of Say My Name. And if that sounds familiar to you, is because it is borrowing straight from the remix album Shift the Map, in which they had Juwon Park, who plays classical flamenco guitar, and he was actually live on stage with them as they did this, and it was so cool. They even introduced him, which I thought was so nice. And after Say My Name, they did Promise with Juwon Park, and guys, that's another bob. It's all from Shift the Map, so go listen to it if you haven't. But this was definitely the highlight for me. I think it's going to be the highlight for a lot of people. It showcases such a different flavor of ATEEZ. It's so beautiful, and it's fitting, and it's artistic in the way that, you know, ATEEZ just, they always bring so much energy, and so to have sort of this kind of cultural flavor added to the music, oh, it was so great. And I'm glad that the guitarist was really amped up loud, because he's clearly a professional. He was so good. Best part of the concert, hands down. After this, we had another break where we talked about different styles that they wanted to try in the future. I couldn't tell if they were joking, if they were being serious, because Woo Young wanted to do EDM, and then they even shared some of it for us, a cappella version. San, of course, wanted a crazy, sexy stage sometime in the future. Yeosang wanted to do orchestral stuff, which I thought was so sweet. And then Yoonho did opera to sort of mock that, and you know, that was funny. And Songhwa wanted to do some group songs with ATINY, which was a perfect segment to the ballads of this concert. It opened with Star 1117, and it was a piano version of this. It was really touching, it was serene, it was passionate, and they had stars kind of, and the galaxy on their virtual screen behind them. It was really nice. And then they did With You. I couldn't remember if it was a piano version or if that's just how the original goes, but yes, a lot more ballad music. Oh my god, San tried to kiss Songhwa's hand, and he was not having it. It was so funny. After this, we had Better, and I've never really listened too much to Better, but I'm glad that they did it. It's sort of like the spring day, like that BTS has for them. It's just an emotional ballad song, and they had some nice clouds in the background, and I think there was like a railroad crossing. Beautiful set. It was really nice. And I think it was also a first-time performance for them. I don't think they had ever performed Better before. I think that's what they had mentioned, and so it was, you know, historical now. After this, there was another break where they gave some sincere messages and some interviews for the second anniversary to ATINY, sort of some wishes, and then they broke out with some Halloween tracks. I do not know what the first song was. I was trying to figure out, it sounded like they were saying the word metal, so I was like, what ATEEZ song is this? I could not figure it out, but the costumes and the makeup, oh my god, it was genuinely creepy as heck. And then they did Wonderland also with the Halloween makeup and the Halloween sort of sound remix, and it was so cool. It was so different. It was festive. It plays to the times. I think everyone always, you know, is looking for some Halloween fun. But I think that was supposed to be the finale of the concert. The members came out one at a time, and they silently waved to the camera. They did sort of, you know, their like little kisses and stuff. And there was fan messages being flashed across the screen as they did this. It was a transition to what would be the encore. And of course, the encore was Inception. And guys, they came out. It was astounding. The outfits they had. red velvet vest with diamonds encrusted all over. I mean, kings, guys, kings. The choreo, the vocals, they brought it. It was all here. And then they had their farewells, goodbyes, and their thanks. They spent a long time reading, like personally reading tweets that fans had sent. And then they also did an interesting thing where they took ATINY's letters that were written to them from 2019 and had them read them now in 2020 to sort of reflect on it. And I thought that was really nice because, I mean, no one predicted things like COVID happening. So it was sad, but thankfully ATEEZ had a lot of really nice things to say about it all and, you know, wishes for 2021. Then we had the most fitting encore song you could have done, and that was One Day at a Time. They set it up sort of in a cozy living room type setup. And I mean, just the lyrics that we will take things one day at a time, that there will be hard days, unpredictable days, and that, you know, we're here together to go through it. And I thought it was perfect. Sungwoo had a light stick, and at the very end of it, Yoonho brought out all of the albums in a stack, and I think that was probably the most emotional part of the concert for me. Just physically seeing how many albums they had produced over their 2 years. It's crazy. Then this segued into the credits that had miscellaneous practice footage, and that was the end of Port of Call. A brief word, Port of Call is sort of the midway stopping point in a destination. It is the intermediate as you are traveling from one place to another. I think that name works really well because this is sort of the segue of ATEEZ from the Treasure series. They did a lot of acknowledging Treasure into Zero Fever, what I would assume is part 2, because yeah, the core of this was the Treasure series, and then it just began and ends sort of as capstones with Zero Fever stuff. Saying that, I would not be surprised if ATEEZ very soon rolls out Zero Fever part 2 or whatever comes next in that, because I think they had been spending a lot of time practicing and getting this ready, and since you can't really do any concerts live right now, this was it, and that's all they're gonna get with Inception. I mean, we have to move forward, we have to keep going, and we have to take things one day at a time. But it was so wonderful to see sort of my, you know, like second or third favorite K-pop group live. I had never watched an ATEEZ concert before. I do have a concert DVD, The Fellowship, on the way, so I will probably end up watching that sooner rather than later. But this just made me so excited to go back and watch more ATEEZ stuff. I want to sort of, you know, find all of the live footage that I can from other concerts and just take it all in, because ATEEZ is still very young, only 2 years old, and while there's a lot out there, there's quite possible to get caught up and to enjoy it, because guys, ATEEZ is gonna go far. They've gone so far already, and they have set limitless boundaries for themselves, and I think all of us are gonna be here for this very, very long journey. So yes, I'm very glad I kind of caved into spontaneity and bought the ticket for Port of Call. I would love to hear your thoughts if you decided to buy the concert. If you missed it, you can still catch recordings of it. I think they're selling them for $15 on mymusictaste.com. So definitely consider purchasing the VOD or finding a concert recording somewhere, because guys, you won't want to miss this. I think that's all I've got to say. I mean, if I go any longer, it's going to be 5 a.m. and I'm not going to really get much rest. So I'm going to end things here. Guys, thank you so much for watching. For more of me, you can find me on Twitter at TalkingToAnimeCafe, and I run a blog with the same name that I will leave linked in the description below. And also follow me on Instagram at TalkingToAC if you feel so inclined. Thank you again so much for watching this video. Happy 2nd anniversary ATEEZ and ATINY, and till next time.